Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome to Zenish. Today we're doing things a little bit differently. Instead of our Capricorn full moon through the houses reading, we are doing a Capricorn full moon, pick a vibe, pick a card reading. We are still in the season of Cancer, which I want to address because there is still a slowness here. If you've been following along on the Patreon, on the YouTube, on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, we talked in our July episode about being in the energy of Cancer and how the transition from mutable air, of Gemini to cardinal water has this slowdown that happens. We're also in a water season, so we are still sensitive, hyper aware, tuned in, very aware of what our capacity is to hold. When I'm talking about holding, you may notice that you are capable of consuming less input. So that can be slowing down your studies, slowing down the way that you consume information, having less patience for an influx of information, or feeling more activated by information or what's happening on the news or what you're reading or consuming. So there's this slowdown, this need to be very conscious of what we are choosing to consume. Our full moon this month is in the sign of Capricorn. Both Cancer and Capricorn are cardinal signs. Cardinal signs usher in a new season. Being Cancer and being Capricorn, there is a reverence and there is a need for stability as we move through the portal of something new. That, to me, is not rushing headlong or running through to start something. That is being very conscious and very in tune, very intentional about where we are choosing to go and how to put one foot in front of the other. I felt like a really good question for this reading is, how can we stay present? And what are we walking into in this new season, or what are we walking through in this full moon portal? I'm going to read a little bit in this really lovely numerology book that I just bought from Thrift Books, Numerology and the Divine Triangle. This is great, about what the Devil card represents. And take a moment to close your eyes and listen to what I'm saying and store this information as we move through the full moon to see how this applies to what's happening in your life right now. The Devil is number 15. And the Devil shows what happens when we fail to use discrimination or discernment. The Devil is a misconception of God. He represents the delusion of judging by outward appearances instead of by inner realities. He also represents religious dogmatism, which is ridiculous to the enlightened person. Therefore, the word here is mirth. We should learn to laugh in the face of difficulties, for laughter or ridicule is sometimes the most effective defense against evil. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, overshadows this key. The Saturn center at the base of the spine is where the Kundalini force lies coiled, and it is the life work of Capricorn to raise the Kundalini and then teach others. The black background of this card indicates ignorance, lack of light. The inverted pentagram on the Devil's forehead is the symbol of black magic or inverted power. His torch burns wastefully and gives no light. The humans chained loosely to the half cube could easily free themselves by refusing to be bound by darkness and imperfect knowledge or half truth, as indicated by the half cube. This key means we are God incarnate, but all too often we play the role in an upside down position as undeveloped people chained in bondage to appearance. I'm sorry, I'm having a really hard time like reading and communicating. The astrological correspondence, we find Venus and Capricorn, which I think is interesting considering Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, but we're going off of this book, so stay open. And this is based on numerology. If you want to dive deeper into it, you can absolutely purchase this book. The link for this is going to be in the show notes below. The Venus awareness of opposites finds fertile grounds in 15, which casts a false image of truth. If you can examine both sides of a situation or see beyond outward appearances, you can escape the bondage of adherence to the purely physical aspects of living. Through Capricorn, the eye of discernment raises you to the highest peak of expression in the full light of day at the apex of the natural horoscope. Capricorn's natural predelication for prestige in the material world is fulfilled by being elevated as a teacher and example for others to follow. The cards that you can choose from for this reading are the Two of Swords, that's 2 is the numerology, and swords is the element of air. 7 of Cups, 7 in numerology, the element of water. And 5 of Swords, once again, air, and the number 5. And I will read into the numerology and put the numerology breakdown in the show notes if you want that to help determine which pile is speaking to you. This week on Thursday, so tomorrow, is the full moon, and we have holding space at 7 p.m. CST via Zoom. In holding space, we are diving very deeply into the tarot and numerology, and we are continuing our tarot spread for us and for the community and for us individually for the year. So we just started quarter 3, so our focus is on our tarot pulls for quarter 3. If you have not been following along, if you have no tarot spread, do not stress. This is a really good session to hop on and into. You can also receive the replay. If you sign in with the link, pay for your session, I will send the replay post session. Sunday service is this Sunday, the 13th in Slidell. We start at 10 a.m. We are doing a yoga flow, and then we are diving deeply into continuing education for energy work, and anyone who feels curious, inspired, or called to esoteric practices. So bring a pendulum if you have one, your yoga mat, blocks, your notebook, some water. Again, you can sign up in the link below. Solo sessions, one-on-one sessions with me in person are Friday the 18th in Slidell at Christina's Therapeutic Touch, where Sunday service also is. You can see the menu of services available in Slidell in the link again below. If you have any questions, you can contact me either in the comments, via email, or text message if you have my phone number. I love you guys. Let's dive into these readings. Take some time, pick your card, and I will see you there. What's up, y'all? Pile 1 is 2 of Swords, and I'm going to read you the description for 2 of Swords in this numerology book as soon as I can find it. Here we go. The figure is dressed in white to denote spiritual purity. Her hair is black, and it is bound by the white band of wisdom. Her position is one of perfect balance. The moon stands for the subconscious, and the rocks symbolize that which is stable, permanent, or decided upon by the conscious mind. The figure is sitting on a cube of stone, which shows a firm foundation for her convictions. Balance and justice are keywords here. You have clear vision and keen perception. You are artistic, graceful, and congenial. You prefer mental work to physical labor. You are fastidious because cleanliness is important to you. You avoid any career that necessitates messiness or dirty hands. You like variety and may not stay long in one job. You need to learn perseverance. You are usually optimistic and pleasant. You are a peacemaker and will go all out to avoid stress and strife. Let's see. Balanced decisions, cooperation. This is a master number cycle. It demands more from you, but it offers greater rewards in return. Balance and self-control are necessary during this period of nervous energy. You must remain impartial. Do not base decisions and judgments on appearance, which is a big key right now. This is not a hickey. I burnt myself. Curling my hair, which I do all the fucking time, despite having done this for 16 years as my profession. But everyone keeps asking me if that's what's on my neck, and it is not. Continuing. You must remain impartial. Do not base decisions and judgments on appearances, which we talked about in the intro to this reading with the Devil card. A favorable financial... I'm making sure that I'm reading the right thing. Okay. A favorable financial outcome may hinge on your ability to perceive the situation as it really is. You are attuned to the needs of others. You can play the role of peacemaker, settling disagreements at work and trouble in the family. As you project affection and understanding, you create harmony and a sense of well-being. You should be willing to help those in need because during this cycle, you have the insight to bring about settlements that are agreeable to all. Refusal to exercise these qualities results in indecision and stalemates. Matters go wrong because of a lack of direction, which you could now supply. Be aware of the people you deal with. Some will not be honest with you, and this will require more understanding and impartiality on your part. Again, numerology, the divine triangle. There's a lot more on the Two of Swords in there, but that was still a lot. So Two of Swords energy to me is... usually shows up as a not needing to know everything, that there are some details you're just not meant to see or understand right now. It's also an energy of trust, of a balance, and since it's a two, it typically involves other people, although she's alone in this card, which makes me feel like maybe time to yourself, especially considering that we're in Cancer energy, which can be, it is the mother, it is the nurturer, it is wanting to care for the people around you, but it's also about caring for yourself and paying attention with the Swords energy here and with the Chariot that represents Cancer energy. A lot of it's about we manifest what it is we spend time and energy thinking about. So if you are constantly thinking and focusing on lack, if you are constantly feeling like your body's not strong enough, that this will never happen for me, yada, 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 that is what you'll get. So the cards in this reading for how to stay present, what we're moving through and what we're moving into are the Ten of Pentacles, which is a great card for presence, Judgment, what we're moving through, and the Star, the card of Aquarius, what we're moving into. And this Ten of Pentacles here is being very grounded in the present moment. Your mantra is, I have everything I need, and not thinking too far ahead. Being very grounded, very grateful, practicing gratitude. And then with the Judgment and the Star, I feel like there's this moment right now or very soon and very quick where it is hard to find love and grace for yourself and for the people around you. It's almost like you're being called into this role of space holder, of leader, and you're having this moment of, I cannot do this. Who am I to believe that I can do this? How the fuck am I going to do this? And there's constriction. I like to call the Judgment card this card of reckoning, of awakening. And maybe for some of you, these are just old thought patterns that need to be released. And maybe for some of you, the really small things that need to be addressed about who you are or how you show up for people feel really loud. And I feel in this energy, like what is being brought to your attention is not actually that big of a deal. It's just being like, I see it being zoomed in and magnified for you. Like, see, this is a moment where you're tapping into a wound and you're being really unkind to someone. Or this little thing that you remember about yourself and all of a sudden is bringing clarity to how you show up in a particular relationship. Yes, could use some work, but no, it's not earth shattering in the way that you feel it's earth shattering. I just feel us being, or you, this group being, having this moment of zooming in to flaws or areas where there can be more love or grace or improvement. And the goal is just that, it's grace. It's shining light on the ways that you're grateful for the awareness of this situation, but we're not drowning in it. It is just a little light so that you can see how you can show up in a way that is more loving. Remember, the key in this life is not to be perfect. It's to continue. My mantra in life is learn better, do better, which I am guilty of all of these things, of beating myself up relentlessly for so much shit, like so much shit. And my saving grace and what brings me back to reality and grounds me back into the moment is that when I learn better, I do better. And then the goal is to set yourself free from the way that you're holding yourself hostage to the old version of you, because you're unable to forgive that version of you or let that version of you go. And so in this moment of judgment, which I feel is the portal that we're passing through in this new moon, the key is to have grace, because on the other side of this is the star, which is very gentle and very loving and understanding and compassionate and very cool and healing energy, which is what you're going to gift to yourself and the people around you. It feels like you are truly cared for, held, provided for, but you're actually going to feel that settle into your being. It's no longer this tug of war of fighting. Do I have enough? Am I enough? Can I do this? It is settling into what you already know, and that is that you can do it. You feel drawn to this thing for a reason, and you want to provide and have stability and serve. And we're moving into a place of no longer questioning how you take up space, just taking up the space and feeling good and grateful and grounded in that energy. So, Two of Swords, I hope this speaks to you. Please share with the people you love. Please sign up for Holding Space Sunday service solo sessions. And yeah, give us a like, give us a comment. Let me know how this feels for you. Moving on to pile 2. Peace. What's up, my Seven of Cups pile? I'm going to read a little bit from this numerology book on the Seven of Cups. The master number, according to this book, of Seven of Cups is 11. The master number vibration demands additional effort from you, but promises greater dividends. Do not sit back and build castles in the air. You could scatter your creative energies in the fanciful pursuit of success. Many of your imagined desires can become realities now if you develop realistic methods to achieve them. You need willpower and determination to implement the ideas that you select as worthy. Many temptations can arise to distract you from the actual purpose of the cycle. These temptations will test your discriminative faculties. Discrimination is coming up a lot. Remember that word came up, discernment, and discrimination came up when we were reading for the Devil card. You will have to decide through weighing, selecting, and discarding where your true values lie. Maintain a balance between the emotional and practical factors and make your plans accordingly. The figure in the Seven of Cups stands facing 7 cups filled with symbols of the gifts and tests to be handled during this life. These 7 are vanity, fame, ego, illusion, jealousy, frivolity, and glamour. All are nebulous. They represent that the worldly person imagines what the worldly person imagines are desirable, but as they are attained one by one, it is realized that they do not bring happiness or any real value in life. You may experience many domestic changes which will demand that you develop patience. You have ESP, which can be developed into prophetic or healing powers. Strong interest in the occult, inherent in all of Scorpio's deacons, because this falls in the 3rd decan of the water sign Scorpio. Do not build up illusion over any human being. To do so opens the possibility of disappointment. You handle money well and you do well in financial pursuits. You are flexible without being wishy-washy. Weakness is no part of your character. So let's talk about the spread we have here. In the moment of the present, we have the Chariot. What we're moving through is the Emperor. These are very strong energies, both of the major arcana, both in the first line of the Fool's Journey of the major arcana. So this is really learning and recognizing the self, mastering what it means to be human, master what it means to be in a family, to be in relationship with other people. And then when we get to the Chariot at the very top of the first line of the major arcana, we have a choice to make. Do we stay in this human plane, or do we dive deeper into the self with a capital S? Because the second line is more of an inward journey, diving deeper into the self. And then the card of where we're going is the Queen of Cups, which is also the feminine embodiment of water. What it means to be a space holder, to be in the heart space, to be compassionate and kind and psychic and use our sensitivities for good, for love, as a means of service. This is coming up a lot. This came up in the first reading too. So what I really liked about this description of the 7 of Cups was it talks about the need for willpower and determination to implement the ideas that you deem as worthy, which is very Chariot. This card also represents the energy of Cancer. So this is, to me, is being very present in the season and really, again, taming the wild mental horses. In the description of the Chariot, so often it talks about how the charioteer has no reins connected to these mystical creatures. These creatures are guiding the chariot where the charioteer wants it to go by will alone. So when you step back and look at what it is that you are calling into your existence and in your life, both consciously, because I feel like for this group, you are consciously aware of where it is you want to go and what you want to do. But what I'm asking you, what these cards are inviting you to do, to dive deeper into, is what are your subconscious habits, self-talk, limiting beliefs? How is that guiding your direction? Because subtly it is. Subtly, the limiting beliefs and the little ways in which you self-sabotage that you're not even aware of, those are what causes the little blocks and give you little lessons to appropriately move towards your goal. So what is coming up, especially in the light of the full moon right now, the full moon being in Capricorn? This is diplomatic. This is having a plan. This is boss bitch energy. And so if you are truly trying to manifest something right now, what little nuanced things are rising to the surface to be addressed? What is the loudest in your self-talk or limiting beliefs? This is so similar to reading 1. Maybe all of them will be similar. I don't know. So the Emperor is our card of what we're actively moving through, the portal we're moving through. And I'm a huge fan of the energy of the Emperor. It represents Aries energy. And to me, the Emperor is building this empire, is diplomatic, is self-sufficient, knows how to delegate, knows how to rule. and be in charge of their own life. When the Emperor is aligned, he is guiding and creating an empire where he can hold space and lead his people from a very grounded yet motivated place. And I feel like you may be feeling this momentum happening over the next few days. And I'm feeling it in like the sacral and the solar chakra, where it's like this ball of energy is just moving and gaining momentum. I almost see it like, is it the roadrunner whose legs look like wheels, where all of a sudden you're just gonna be super inspired, know how to structure what it is that you're calling in. And I also see you putting blinders on to avoid yourself from becoming distracted by the limiting bullshit that is wanting to keep you stuck. Because with the Chariot and the Emperor here, and like we were talking about the first line of the major arcana, I do see you, especially with the Queen of Cups is where you're going, diving into a deeper layer of who you are as a leader, as a space holder, as someone who is believing, like truly believing that you are as in control as you can be of your life and the direction that it's going in. And I see this energy of the Chariot, this energy of the Emperor really embodying, or like the Queen of Cups is soaking in this energy of being in her feminine, being in the wisdom, being in her sensitivity, but also being in her masculine and being able to direct and manipulate the energy that she has to create the life that she wants. And I love the Seven of Cups here, because the Seven of Cups is about not getting distracted, being very aware of what it is that we value, seeing all the time and resources that are coming in, and instead of squandering it, being very intentional with it. And I love this for you. It feels like you're ready. And if you're not, notice what is the distraction and what is on replay in your mind that is preventing you from knowing that you can do this. In what ways do you keep telling yourself that you can't and really believing that? Thank you for being here. Share this with a friend. Post this on your socials. Send it in an email to someone you love. Who does this speak to? And book your holding space, your Sunday service, your solo session. I would love to work with you. And check out Patreon. See what we have going on weekly over there. Love you guys. Peace. All right, my Five of Swords pile, this is already feeling like a heavier energy. So if you're feeling density or heaviness in your life, this is the right pile. I'm going to read about the Five of Swords before we move into the cards that I pulled for us. Do not take speculative risks under this vibration. You may tend to be more impulsive now, so make an effort to think things through before acting. This impulsiveness can also cause accidents and injury. Therefore, maintain a moderate speed in your lifestyle, which is really interesting because this pile has 8 of Wands present in this reading. There can be travel and a variety of opportunities now. Excitement, movement, and romance make life more interesting. Be careful that you don't follow your impulses blindly. This can bring loss and slanderous talk, and your reputation can be affected. Remain positive and accept your responsibilities, then you will come out on top. If you initiate changes after careful consideration, you will persevere. Situations encountered will be settled in your favor because you have the strength to stand up for what you believe. The figure in the Five of Swords in the foreground represents one who has finished the job. The figures walking away has laid down his sword, but he is still not defeated. He merely shows that he knows when to fight and when to retreat. The other figure really is defeated and is weeping over this fact. This card represents 3 attitudes of mind. It shows that we must discriminate in all matters and stand on our convictions. This is a card of altruism. You're inspired by the concept of the Aquarian age. You are intelligent, self-confident, and determined to achieve your chosen goal if you are willing to fight to persevere your ideals. This card is kind of a double-edged sword, pun intended, because I feel that the question is, what are you fighting for? And being sure that it is aligned with your values and not based on your ego. Because on one side, you are standing up for what you believe in and you're not getting trampled on by someone else who's talking at you and very disrespectful and typically tends to make you question yourself. On the other hand, for some of you, you're fighting a battle for what? Like, you're winning this battle for what? I feel like for this side of the spectrum, you're doing it to be right and it's hurting people and it's just in the name of being right. And my question is, are you even right? Because with the people walking away in the background of this card, it's kind of like, there's this sense of like, you haven't even technically won unless winning is shutting someone up, because these people are frustrated and hurt because you're not even hearing anything that they have to say. And they're just walking away because they're done. And are these people you actually want to be done and silenced? Or are they people you want to have a relationship, you're just constantly fighting the need to get the last word in and be right? That's a question for you to dive into. In the present moment, we have the Hierophant. What we're moving through is King of Cups energy. And then we have 2 cards, the 8 of Wands and Death here for where we're going. We also have the 6 of Wands present, which is the card of victory. So what I'm feeling in this reading with the 8 of Wands present and Death present is to not move too fast, to not be making impulsive decisions, that where you were going is going to take time and perseverance. And I feel like if you look at these 2 cards here in the outcome, they look very similar. One is dead, or like some version of death. One is very much so alive. And I feel the 8 of Wands here feels more like a warning, like something's coming in fast. But if you move without thinking, without intention, without checking in and aligning with your values or watching what you say, how you say it, and who you say it to, will determine the outcome of this situation, of this moon. And I see some of you like brooding, and like there's a very, I guess because death is here, like a scorpionic energy of the worst kind, where you're just in your feelings so hard and so consumed by them that there's this very cold, very manipulative, very like fuck you side of you coming out. And that's where you're making choices from. With the 6 of Wands, you have an opportunity to make a choice aligned and balanced and from a place of taking a deep breath, aligning with your practices, which is what I feel the Hierophant is here for. There's a lot of like duality in this reading, because even with the Hierophant, it's either you tapping into your practices, being really grounded. And with the King of Cups here too, I feel like you're either in this season have no boundary energetically, and you are just taking on so much and not practicing any self-control as far as what it is you're consuming. You're like on this hamster wheel of consumption of like content and news and politics and drama, and you're so wrapped up in the whirlwind. I see you like spinning and spiraling, and that brings you to the death card, which is like having to clean up some godforsaken mess that you've created because you're not having any self-control right now. Or you're tapping into the Hierophant and King of Cups. You're slowing down, connecting with your practices, talking to people that you trust who can hold space for you, and grounding despite the chaos, unplugging a little bit and unplugging socially and plugging into your practices so that you can be really grounded and learn how to let this extra sensitivity move through you without being consumed by it. The people who are grounding are connecting into their truth and into their selves, and they are the ones moving into the Six of Wands energy. So where do you fall on the spectrum? I feel like either way, there's opportunity here to learn something, to practice something, and to take your time in determining. If you are texting, if you're responding to something and you're texting and you've done type 3 paragraphs without hardly breathing, you're wrong. Like, delete it and take a breath. The people who are deleting it and taking a breath, it doesn't mean you can't say what you need to say. It doesn't mean that what you're thinking or feeling isn't valid. But what place is that coming from, and can you ground before moving forward? That's the vibe that I'm getting for this group. Pay attention to how this full moon makes you feel. I love you guys so much. Send this to a friend. Comment below if it speaks to you. Give us a like, a subscribe, a follow. Sign up for Holding Space Sunday service. Book you a solo session, even if you're not local. If you check out the link below, you can see that I offer also virtual one-on-one sessions. I love you guys so much. Mwah. Peace out.